Hello everyone, this is Nazanin and welcome to my YouTube channel. A few years ago, if someone had asked me where life would take me, Russia would probably have been the last answer on my list. But a few years ago, I packed my stuff, said goodbye to my family and moved to Moscow. Before arriving, I thought I already understood what Russia would be like. I had watched videos, read articles and listened to countless opinions. I believe I was ready. But I wasn't. Living here turned out to be completely different from everything I had imagined. Today I want to share the moment that surprised me the most and changed the way I see this country. First thing first, landing in Moscow was exciting but also frightening. It was my first time traveling so far completely alone. When I walked out of the airport, I wasn't thinking about Russia anymore. I was asking myself simple question: where should I go? What if I make mistake? What if someone asks me something and I don't understand? So I made one rule for myself and I said, girl, stop thinking about next month, next even week. Just take the next step. The mindset helped me through everything that followed. When I arrived at the dormitory, my classmate invited me to the lunch near the dormitory. The food looked much smaller than the picture on the menu and I was still hungry afterwards. I decided to visit supermarket, but my phone battery had died, no translator, no internet, and I couldn't even find sugar. That was the moment I realized that living abroad isn't difficult because of the big problem, because even tiny everyday tasks suddenly become challenges. And a few days later, I started to explore in Moscow. I expected the gray and the cold city, but instead I found beautiful streets, parks full of lights, cafes full of people, and that completely changed my first impression. Then I discovered the Moscow metro. I expected an ordinary subway, but it felt more like an underground museum. Every station had its own style. And you have to see it. You cannot even imagine. Language was the hardest part, more than even the weather. Government offices, paperwork, medical appointment, almost everything required Russian. One day I misunderstood the doctor because I couldn't understand what she was saying, and at that time it was stressful, and today it's one of the funniest memory for me. Little by little, I learned the language, made friends, and everyday life became easier. I didn't build a new life all at once. I built through small steps, small mistakes, and small victories. Today, Moscow doesn't feel like a strange city anymore. It feels like a place full of memories. If you're thinking about moving abroad, remember this: you don't have to know everything on day one. Just take the next step. Thank you for watching, and if you'd like to hear more stories about my life in Russia, I'll see you in the next videos.